Hello again, and today we're back here again at Castlepollard Mother and Baby Home. And I have with me here Jennifer Maddy from Crystal Clear, Dundalk. And a lot of you will recognise Jennifer because Crystal Clear, Dundalk, and because she's been on a lot of the meditation and ancient site visits and videos that we made. Jennifer's with us in those. That's why you maybe see or recognise her face in some way. And Jennifer is here because Jennifer was born in Castlepollard Mother and Baby Home here. And we had on in a previous video, Kathleen Tuart was with me here. And Kathleen was also born up there, not at the same time. But Kathleen's story is very interesting because Kathleen was working in Castlepollard Street in the Catering College in Dublin. And her mother was living only a few streets away from her. And she didn't know it. And the sad thing was that when she did find her mother had already passed on. And she could have met her mother nearly every day out in that street. So everybody has a very sad and a different story. And Jennifer, your story is different again. And behind me here, we have the Angels Plot in Castlepollard. And we're going to move in there now. And Jennifer's going to tell us her story about her experience here in Castlepollard and her efforts to find her natural birth mother. So here we are down in the Angels Plot. And Jennifer, your story is different again from everybody else's.
That's right, Eileen. So I was born here in 1970 in August, and I believe I was one of the last children born here. There was just a few more after me. There's a reunion here every year that people come and pay their respects for all the children that are buried here in the Angel Plot. And that's why I brought the flowers to pay homage for the children that have gone before us. So my mum's story, she became pregnant. My dad was from Tralee, and she travelled to England to have me. She didn't want her family to know that she was pregnant, so she actually came back from England to Castlepollard.
So her family didn't know that she was pregnant,
No,
Jennifer?
She was afraid to tell her family.
Afraid, the stigma and the shame attached to that.
That's
Poor
it.
woman, yes, okay.
So she was, as she writes in her letters, she was afraid of her life to tell her family that she was pregnant. And my father didn't know that she was pregnant either. So she came here all on her own, travelled back from England to Ireland, and it was the nuns and the church that actually helped her to come here to have me. She was,
maybe because she wanted you adopted by an Irish family rather than being in England. Would that be it, maybe?
I'd say this was just the route that she took. So she came here. And then she kept writing that she wanted to give me up for adoption because she wanted it to happen as quickly as possible so her family didn't find out. Mm-hmm. So I think I was 3 months old before I was finally adopted, and my mother went back to England, and unfortunately she didn't come back to sign the adoption papers. So they chased her to sign them, and her family did find out that I existed. My parents who adopted me, Teresa and Dennis Maddy, they lived in fear for 2 years of their lives because they didn't know what was going to happen, whether I was going to be taken back, until finally the court signed the adoption papers and I was signed over.
And Jennifer, you've had a very happy life with your adoptive parents, and you did connect with your grandparents down in Kerry again.
So just before my own children were born, my dad passed away. She decided it's time now for me to find out where I came from. She wouldn't have been able to open that experience if my dad was alive because she was afraid it would hurt him too much. But because he had passed away, she brought me to Dublin. And would you believe, I worked in Permanent TSB Bank in Dublin years ago on Grafton Street, and Cuma, the adoption agency, like Kathleen, was just across the road, and the door was just across the road to where I was adopted. So my mum brought me into Cuma, where I was interviewed by a social worker to find out whether I was stable to go and find my family.
And when you did find them, Jennifer?
So unfortunately, Eileen, when I did find my family, my mum had passed away. So I never actually got to meet my
What
mum.
age did you pass at, Jennifer?
She was only 44 years of age, and I found my sisters and they told me that she actually died from a broken heart. She became very ill and she had liver failure. So she never recovered from the experience of giving me and later on my brother up for adoption.
And Jennifer, your grandparents, she was afraid to tell her parents that she was expecting. Do you think that if they had known, would they have sent her into a mother and baby home, or would they have looked after them? What do you think? Knowing them now as you know them.
Knowing them now as I know from meeting them, I don't think my grandfather would have welcomed me into the home. When I did go to visit the home, he stayed in an opposite room and didn't come out to meet me. But my grandmother opened her arms, welcomed me with open arms, as did the whole family after I had found them.
Well, that's a lovely story there, yes. Okay. And how are they now? You're still very close to them now, Jennifer?
So I've traced my family and they're all living in England, and I went on to trace my father. So my father was from Tralee and he's living over in London, and I have to say it was some experience meeting my dad for the first time. For a child to meet somebody who is connected by blood and you've never met before, it's very daunting and scary experience, but we just fell into step, and to be welcomed with open arms, for the male to actually receive me, I didn't feel so abandoned, because we actually hold these issues in our tissues.
Of course we do.
I grew up with these feelings of separation and abandonment, and probably attracted situations that were the same. So I would advise everybody to open up and try and find your family, and if you don't find them, it's not meant to be.
See, this is the effect of all of this. There are thousands of people out there who haven't been able to find their roots, and you know, we all need roots. We're like a tree without a trunk if we haven't got roots, Jennifer.
Yes, it's like to be connected, to feel rooted and grounded, and to know who you are, really.
We all need to belong somewhere.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and
you've no bitterness, Jennifer. No bitterness.
I have no bitterness. I do believe that the issues I held in my tissues, I got sick along the way because I wasn't able to take on any more tragic life experiences, and I've had to do a lot of work on myself to be able to stand here and to talk to you today.
And what you've done with Crystal Clear and what you're doing, therapy for other people,
I do.
All of that.
I'm trying to help people to release the
and you're doing
issues.
a great job. Yourself and Brenda are doing a tremendous job.
We do, because
really
you don't really, sometimes you don't even have to speak about the experiences that you've gone through. We can just help to release the issues very gently from your
and it makes you more sensitive to other people's feelings and troubles as well, doesn't it, Jennifer?
Oh, I think
and if you just sail through life with no problems.
We're so empathic, and we pick up on energy and people's emotions and feelings. And I do think, Eileen, what you're doing here with the book and bringing all these stories forward, it's so needed in the world.
It's so needed, yes. Well, thank you very much, Jennifer, for coming with me today and telling us your story here.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Eileen. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak out.
You're welcome. And what are we going to do now?
We're just going to light the candle, so to bring the candle forward, so lighting the way forward for the children of the future and our own grandchildren.
The children of the future, yes. That's what it's all about. So we send love down into the earth here, Jennifer, for all the little souls that have been buried underneath us here, and represented by the little baby shoes on the tree behind us here.
Magdalene, lighting the way forward, the bringer of life and death. Shine light today in Castlepollard Mother and Baby Home, the place where I was born. Clear away all the darkness for all the innocent babies buried here, our cribmates. Let us accept our past, the reality of what really happened, in order for us to heal. Let go of shame and blame. Let go of pain. Let go of fear. Transmute the fear and release all the suffering. No more abandonment, no more abuse, and no more separation, as we are all one. We place roses on the land in the name of Magdalene. Let us celebrate the new, the returning of the light, renewal, rebirth, regeneration, to bless us all here today. I am my mother's daughter, and together we shall soar.